Ever feel like you're playing this game of trade-offs with your phone?
Yeah.
Sacrificing screen size for portability, or maybe lugging around something that feels, well, a bit clunky.
Yeah, it's always a compromise, isn't it?
What if you could actually get both? Like a big immersive display that folds down into something genuinely sleek.
Well, welcome back, everyone. You're diving deep with us here on Valley Vortex.
And this time, yeah, we're getting right into the new OPPO Find N5. We've gone through a really detailed review to pull out the key stuff.
Exactly. Our mission today is pretty straightforward. Give you a clear picture of this new foldable, what works well, where it maybe falls short.
And basically help you figure out if it's something you should be paying attention to in this whole growing foldable market.
Think of it as your shortcut to getting informed without needing to wade through, pages and pages of specs yourself.
Right. We're going to cover the feel of it, the displays, cameras, performance, software, the whole package.
Yep, aiming for that focused, well-rounded view, so you feel like you really get what this Find N5 is about.
Okay, let's get into it. Starting with that first impression, the design, how it feels. The big headline seems to be how thin and light it is for a foldable.
Yeah, they're saying it's 8.93 millimeters folded and just 4.21 millimeters unfolded. That's really slim.
And the camera bump is apparently 20% thinner than the Find N3.
Yeah,
That alone must make a difference in the pocket.
absolutely. That thinness isn't just for looks. It makes it, more comfortable to hold, easier to carry around. It tackles that whole foldables are bulky idea head on.
It sounds like it's still got that premium feel, though. The review mentions a minimal crease, which is huge for foldables, a great hinge, and this kind of interesting marble texture on the white one.
Yeah, and a smoother black option, too. That minimal crease, if it really is minimal, that's a big win. Makes that big inner screen much nicer to use, less distracting.
And they seem serious about durability, too. Titanium alloy hinge, this IPX6 plus IPX8 plus IPX9 rating.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? Like serious water protection.
Basically, yeah. It can handle jets of water being submerged. It's pretty comprehensive water resistance, plus dust and heat resistance. And there's a TÜV Rheinland certification for the folding mechanism itself.
Okay, so it should stand up to some real-world use. That's reassuring.
Definitely. Building that trust is key for foldables. The materials, the IP rating, the certification, it all adds up.
And the hinge itself, it sounds like they've tuned it nicely. Not too stiff, like maybe the Fold 6, not too loose, like the Find N3 was sometimes described.
Right, a balance. It can supposedly hold its position between 50 and 130 degrees. That's that flex form mode, right?
Yeah, which sounds great for hands-free stuff like video calls or taking photos at weird angles.
Exactly. If it holds its position reliably, that unlocks a lot of usability, like a built-in tripod almost.
The review did note the screen is actually a bit larger than some other book-style foldables. Good or bad, depending on your hands, I guess.
True. More screen is great for multitasking, but maybe trickier one-handed. It's a trade-off.
And you get the flat aluminum frame, that titanium hinge, and the alert slider is back. People love that slider.
Yeah, the materials scream flagship, and the alert slider is just practical. Makes managing notifications so much easier.
Comfort-wise, sounds like an improvement over the N3 less sharp corners. But the buttons, power and volume, are maybe a bit too high up.
Yeah, awkward button placement can be annoying. It's that constant battle between sleek design and, actual ergonomics. Sometimes one wins out over the other.
I mean, protecting those screens. The cover gets nanocrystal glass. Sounds tough. The inner one has multiple layers, even a self-healing film.
Yeah, that self-healing thing. It won't stop deep scratches, but it can help with minor scuffs, keep it looking clearer longer. Protecting that big folding screen is crucial.
And it comes with a case. Vegan leather covers the hinge. It's a nice touch, though the cover screen is still exposed, mostly.
Still, including a case that protects the hinge is smart.
All right, let's unfold the screens themselves. Two big LTPO OLEDs, 1 to 120 hertz, 6.62 inch on the cover.
Yeah.
And a massive 8.12-inch screen inside. Yeah, the review says they're the biggest among current book-style foldables.
That size has got to be a major selling point for some people. Productivity, movies.
For sure. And that LTPO means smooth scrolling when you need it, but it saves battery when things are static, on both screens too.
And they're bright. Sounds like really bright. Cover screen hits, 2,450 nits peak?
Yeah, and the inner one's still super bright at 2,100 nits. Sunlight visibility should be excellent on both.
That's flagship level brightness. Makes a real difference outdoors.
Definitely. And interestingly, the inner screen is supposed to be anti-reflective. A bit better than, say, the Fold 6 in reducing glare.
Ooh, that's nice. Glare on a big screen is annoying. And the crease. We mentioned minimal, but they actually quantified it. 10% narrower, 50% shallower than the M3.
That's a significant improvement. Should make the Fold much less noticeable in daily use. It shows they're still pushing the tech forward there. And for people who like styluses, it supports the OPPO pen on both screens. The review mentioned the pen is a good size, and writing feels better because that crease is less pronounced.
Yeah, stylus support makes it way more versatile. Notes, drawing, marking up documents, and a flatter surface definitely helps make writing feel more natural.
Okay, cameras, always a big focus. 5 cameras total here. A 50MP main, a 50MP periscope telephoto with 3x optical zoom.
An 8MP ultra wide, and then 2 8MP selfie cams, one for each screen. Looks comprehensive on paper.
The main camera seems to be the star. Good results, day and night exposure, detail, colors all sound pretty solid.
That's good to hear. A reliable main camera is essential.
The 3x periscope telephoto also sounds decent in good light, even pushed to 6x. And it has that telemacro thing, focus down to 10 centimeters.
Yeah, that macro capability on the telephoto can be genuinely useful for close-up shots of small details.
But there's always a but, isn't there?
Often, yeah. What's the catch?
The telephoto apparently isn't great in low light. And no OIS, optical image stabilization, which can lead to shaky night shots.
Ah, okay. Lack of OIS on a telephoto, especially for low light, that's a definite minus.
And the 8MP ultra-wide, it's described as just usable, okay, in daylight, but below average detail, and it really drops off in dim light.
8 megapixels for an ultra-wide is pretty low these days for a flagship. Sounds like a noticeable quality gap between the main and the other cameras.
Yeah, that seems to be the story. It's a challenge fitting top-tier everything into these thin designs, I suppose.
Exactly. Compromises often have to be made somewhere.
Video, though main camera gets good marks, day or night. Telephoto video is okay too, but sometimes struggles to switch over from the main cam in low light.
Okay, so video potential is there, especially from the main lens. Dolby Vision HDR support is nice too, except on the ultra-wide.
Right, and smooth switching between lenses during recording is always appreciated.
Definitely. What about software tricks? Any AI stuff?
Oh yeah, light and snap, portrait mode, scene detection, and this AI telescope zoom uses AI to enhance zoom past 60x, ML beyond 20x.
Ah, the super zoom AI stuff. Can look a bit artificial sometimes, but maybe useful in a pinch.
Exactly what the review said. And you get the usual foldable perks, flex form, for setting it up like a tripod, using the rear cams for selfies with the cover screen.
Those are genuinely handy features that use the form factor well.
But here's the kicker, maybe the most important camera point. The review flat out says the overall system is a downgrade compared to the Find N3.
Ouch. A downgrade. Especially noticeable on the non-main lenses, you said.
Yep, so if you use the telephoto or ultra-wide a lot on the N3, this might feel like a step back. That's significant.
Wow, that's a really important point for potential upgraders or anyone prioritizing camera versatility. Might be a conscious trade-off for that thinness.
Could be. Okay, shifting gears, audio. It's got dual stereo speakers, down from 3 on the N3.
Another downgrade. How do they sound?
Good is the word used, but lacking clarity, openness, depth compared to top flagships. Bass is adequate, apparently.
So functional, but not amazing.
Pretty much. They get loud, just not as loud as the N3. Verdict was good enough for everyday stuff. Wireless audio via Bluetooth is excellent, though.
Okay, so rely on your earbuds for the best sound. Another potential compromise for the design, perhaps.
Seems likely. Now, performance. This is interesting. It's got a version of the Snapdragon 8 Elite chip, but a 7-core one, first foldable with it.
A nerfed version, as some might call it. Still paired with 16 GB RAM and 512 GB of fast UFS 4.0 storage, it should fly.
And apparently it does. For multitasking, productivity apps, general use, super snappy, no heat issues reported there.
That's great for the target user, probably. Someone wanting a portable productivity machine.
But gaming. Generally good on that big screen, but it can throttle under heavy load with maxed out settings. That powerful GPU gets warm in the thin chassis.
Right. Sustained heavy gaming might expose the thermal limits. Incredible for work, maybe not the absolute best for hours of maxed out Genshin Impact.
Makes sense. It's apparently less aggressive with throttling than the Find X8 series, though. Maybe prioritizes peak performance a bit more.
Could be. And there's a gaming toolbar, useful shortcuts. Haptics are improved too. Best on an OPPO foldable apparently, but still not Find X8 Ultra level.
And the fingerprint scanner is side-mounted. Fast, reliable, but, Some wish for under display.
Standard reliable choice, the side-mounted sensor. Under display is cleaner, but sometimes less consistent.
Plus, there's this AI Link Boost 2.0 for better signal. The reviewer actually noticed better reception on their train commute.
Oh, practical benefits like that are always good to hear. Reliable connection is fundamental, and it has that dedicated security chip still.
Yeah, carried over from the N3. Extra hardware security.
Good stuff. All these little usability things add up.
Okay, battery. Always crucial on these big screen devices.
Yeah.
It's got a 5600 milliwatt battery, which sounds huge, especially given how thin the phone is. Uses that silicon carbon tech.
Yeah, that tech allows for higher density, so more capacity and less space. 5600 milliwatt in this form factor is impressive. How's the life?
Excellent, apparently. Like 1.5 days with typical use, 7-8 hours screen on time, mostly using the big inner screen. Easy 2-day phone with moderate use.
Wow, that's really strong, especially for a foldable with dual high refresh screens. Optimization must be pretty good.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
And charging. Fast. 80W wired gets you full in about 50 minutes, plus 50W wireless.
Nice. So great endurance and fast top-ups, that's the dream combo right there. Addresses major user pain points.
The review called it a sublime balance. High praise.
It sounds well-deserved if those numbers hold up in real life.
All right, let's wrap up with software. It's running ColorOS 15, based on Android 15. Should be familiar if you've seen recent OPPO phones.
Known for being smooth, customizable, how does it handle the foldable aspect?
Really well, it seems. Boundless View for multitasking is highlighted again as basically the best implementation out there. Flexible windows, up to 3 apps.
And now it suggests app pairings. That's clever. Using AI to make multitasking even easier.
Exactly. Plus a bunch of other AI features. AI Eraser 2.0 in Photos, Clarity Enhancer, AI Writer Summarizer, accessible via Photos, or an AI toolbox.
So AI baked in quite deeply then. And that dynamic island-like thing, live alerts?
Yeah, shows up to 4 actions. And some visual tweaks for the N5 stack notifications. A new Translate app that uses FlexForm mode smartly for different translation types.
It sounds like they've really thought about tailoring the software to the hardware here.
Totally. And for Mac users, there's O+ Connect.
Mm.
Remote Mac control even supports MacBook gestures, fast file transfer, drag and drop.
Oh, interesting. Bridging that gap with the Apple ecosystem, that could be a big deal for some people. Needs an OPPO account login for smoothest use, they said.
Yeah. Only thing missing seems to be direct screen mirroring to a Mac, but maybe that'll come later.
Still, that level of integration is pretty significant.
So summing it all up, the OPPO Find N5 comes across as super thin, powerful, great for multitasking, a really practical take on the book-style foldable.
Excellent software, flagship specs generally, sleek design, feels durable.
The main downsides seem to be those camera compromises, specifically the telephoto and ultra-wide, and the speakers aren't quite as good as the last one.
Right, those are the key trade-offs mentioned. But the review felt the strengths probably outweigh those for most people.
Yeah, strongly suggested that. Price-wise, around $1,686 US for the 165 12GB model. Potential deals with cash back or a bundled watch could make it even more tempting.
So, the highlights again. The software, especially Boundless View, the super thin design, minimal crease, durability, that amazing battery life and fast charging, and strong performance, particularly for productivity.
Exactly. The reviewer, having used 5 different book-style foldables, called this the most well-rounded overall experience. It's quite a statement.
It paints a picture of a very refined, very usable foldable, even with a couple of specific compromises. A strong contender.
So after hearing all that, we want to know what you think. Does the OPPO Find N5, with its mix of incredible thinness, power, and those camera trade-offs, does it hit the sweet spot for foldables right now?
Or are there still things, maybe fundamental things, that need to change before a foldable makes sense for your specific needs?
Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. We're really curious to hear your take on the Find N5, or just foldables in general.
And hey, if you found this deep dive helpful, give it a thumbs up. It really helps other tech fans find the discussion.
Got more questions about the N5? Ask away in the comments section. We'll try our best to answer them.
And finally, make sure you subscribe to Valley 4 Techs and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the latest tech.